Welcome to Mostly Horror Movie Night. I'm Steve.
And I'm Sean.
How's it going? Doing good, Sean?
Dude. Yeah, I'm alive.
Let's pretend like we haven't been talking to each other for the past 3 hours.
Yeah. It's nice to see you.
Yep. So we're recording this intro to this episode. This is our second episode. So episode one, hopefully you listened to it. Kind of just our intro. Episode two, we have a really cool interview with Jordan Graham, who's the director and everything of a movie called Sator.
Yes.
Sean, how do you feel about the interview that we had?
I think the interview went pretty well, especially, for our first one. Jordan was a really cool guy. He had a lot to say, a lot of sort of behind the scenes things that went into exactly why he made the movie. And I say in the interview, I think that knowing the story and his personal experiences behind the movie make the experience. So it's definitely you want to hear his take as well as see the movie. So.
Yeah, I agree. It's super cool. We won't take too much time because we have a pretty long conversation with him. And then we have a fun draft with our friends Cam and Bruce talking about our top 5 horror movies that incorporate the woods, I think is the best way to say it.
Yeah.
So that way there's some leeway there. So we have that fun little thing to end the episode. So without any further ado, we will get to the interview. Enjoy, guys.
Enjoy.
We are here with Jordan Graham. Jordan is the producer, director, writer, cinematographer, editor, caster, production designer, makeup coordinator, costume designer, cabin constructor, gaffer, grip, camera operator, colorist, visual and special effects coordinator, sound designer, mixer, and composer of Sator. Jordan, how are you doing, man?
That out before. That's funny. People usually stop after like 4 of them. So
No, we gotta name all of them because it's crazy impressive, man.
Yeah, you gotta give credit where credit's due, 100%.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for joining us, Jordan. So you're here. We're gonna be talking about your movie Sator. Just to kind of give people that haven't seen it a little bit of an idea. The description says, secluded in a desolate forest, a broken family is observed by Sator, a supernatural entity who is attempting to claim them, which I think is a pretty concise description.
Spooky.
My aunt wrote that description, actually.
Nailed it.
That's amazing.
She's the one that lived with Sator. I mean, because there's like my grandmother who's in the film, and Sator came to her in 1968, and then there is her daughters and her son, which were my mom and my aunt and my uncle. So they were all involved with Sator as well, and so she's a really good writer. So she
That's before we even fully jump into it, I kind of want to comment on how I would say that the article that you wrote about the making of the movie and why you made it.
Which one? The No Film School one or the Talk House one?
Talk House.
Yeah, I would say
the No Film School one.
No, I don't. No. I don't think I did.
That one I went really in depth with all the tech stuff. So after this, you should look at that.
Oh, absolutely.
Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're fine. So I think that I guess now that I know that there's another article, I'll probably include that. But reading the article about the movie, I almost consider part of the movie experience, which I think is really interesting. Steve read the article first, then saw the movie. I saw the movie and then read the article. And I think that it's 2 different ways to experience it.
Oh, I totally agree. I feel like you're going to enjoy this a lot more, even if they know the spoilers behind it. Like the No Film School one, I go in through all the spoilers. I feel like I made this film kind of mainly for filmmakers almost, and for the tech aspect stuff. But I feel like just definitely knowing the history of this thing is people are going to enjoy it a lot more.
100%.
Yeah. I think it helps you appreciate it a lot, which is really cool. And we'll get into that in just a second. First, before we do, so obviously you're an independent filmmaker. You don't have like an illustrious IMDb page, which is fine.
But my life for on two of these things, but no,
I know, right? But give me just a little bit of a kind of a retrospective. Talk about, I've heard you say that you don't really like, your old stuff that much. Just kind of talk about Midground Inspector, just where you started filmmaking.
That's fine. So I was 13 years old, and I went to Tucson, Arizona. I live in Santa Cruz, California. So I went to Tucson, Arizona, and a cousin of mine was making a short film for a high school project, and I thought that was really cool. So I asked my younger cousin, it's like, we should go, let's go make something. So that night we were able to borrow the camera. I went and got we went and gathered props around. One of them was a cardboard monkey mask. And you could see it in Sator. So in the cabin, you can see there's like a framed photo of like a monkey mask in the background. So that was the monkey mask that I used in this short film about an evil monkey. And then I showed it that night. We screened it to my family, and then my aunt, the one who wrote the description, she jumped, and then that's where I was like, okay, I want to make movies for the rest of my life. So then, after that, what did I do? Then it was just a lot of what do you call those? Spoofs? I get like where you
parodies.
Parodies, yeah. Mm-hmm. So I. Like in the beginning, I really wanted to do like action movies, like really beginning. Like I'm between like 14 and, well, I guess even 13 and 17, 18. I'm going through, 18. I want to do action movies. So I was doing parodies of like Pirates of the Caribbean and Matrix stuff, and I loved action sequences. I was in high school doing wire work stuff, and
oh, that's awesome.
And that's kind of like we had high school rallies, and I would make a video for the rallies, and I was kind of like known as like the film guy, and I was voted most likely to be famous in the yearbook. And then so that was fun. Like I loved those times, just because it was just so innocent. YouTube wasn't around then, so I could. No one will. I have a couple things online that I'm not too embarrassed to show. But I had a film, or not a film, a music producer. He came to me. He was a family friend, and he represented a American Idol finalist on the first season of American Idol. Her name was Nikki McKibben. She died this year, but she placed number 3. And I was 18 or 19 at the time, and he asked me to shoot her music video. So I shot her first music video. You can find that online. It's called Nikki McKibben, The Lie. And I shot that with on like a mini DV. It had an XL2 camera, so it was like kind of like the highest quality of the mini DVs that you could probably get. And then after that, I spent 3 years on this project called Midground. It's a short on IMDb, but it was actually like we set out to make a feature. That was a miserable experience. Just because we had no script, we had no direction, we were just going out there and making stuff. And I feel like that's a trend with my stuff here with Sator as well. Like it's like I had a script beforehand and then it changed, which we'll get into later. But so we didn't have a script. The actors, they're all the same actor, like the guy with the beard in the big beard and Pete and Sator. He's one of the main actors in that. And because we've been best friends since I was 13 years old. So he's been acting in all my stuff since.
I love that.
So, and Gabe, the other actor, he's in that as well. He's been in majority of my stuff too since high school. But I was still kind of like in my action phase, right? Wanting to make action movies, transitioning into wanting to make dramas, because action and horror are below me now, because I was this young teenager. And and
You need substance.
thinking that I was above all that, right?
Yeah.
So then you have like this fucking. Oh, sorry, I don't know. Can I swear?
Go
Sorry.
for it, please.
Go ahead.
You have this movie that is like, I still have my action, like senses, I guess, because I still want to do that with very real. Like there's just like very realistic teenage kind of like with movie kids. So it has like this very realness teenage stuff, and then there is this epic melodrama bullshit, and so it just doesn't work. But I did finish one cut after 3 years. We almost got into the Guinness Book World Records of cheapest film ever made. It was $150 that we spent on it.
Wow,
that's fantastic.
But in order to get that world record, you have to have a British rating and a premiere and have it screened in a film. So it's like, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to screen it in a theater in our local town. We need to raise $1,700, so we're going to raise that money, and then we're going to pay for that, or we're going to get that British rating. So we did have a premiere in the town, and it sold out, so that was pretty cool. But like this, I basically shot like a porno in this as well. You don't really see it. Like again, you have like, I don't know, just it was a mixture of all sorts of shit. It was really interesting to figure out what I was doing.
It was your first try.
I had during the screening, I had one person or a couple walk out of because I was acting in it too. So I had a person or a couple walk out of the screen, and I was in the lobby, and they're like, oh, is that you up on the screen? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, you need to grow up. And then they walked out. Now, Spectre was something that I wasn't trying to make for anybody to see, really. It was just something that I was going to do that was fun with my friends. It wasn't going to be something I was going to take very seriously. And that's the reason why I say that because that film's actually like on my resume now, and people can see it. And that film, I hate everything about that film, basically. And I tried, like, there's some moments in the beginning where I don't even remember what his name was, the character's name in the film. Chase. He had some like genuine moments in there, but just like the exposition, it goes against everything that I do now, and there's just everything about that was just not. It was a fun experience. See, I enjoyed making that way more than Midground because I wasn't taking that seriously. I was just having fun. But then when I got close to finishing the film, a sales agent, I made a trailer, put it online, or had a YouTube channel posted online that got quite a lot of views on there. And then I got a sales agent wrote me and said they would like to try selling it. And I was like, oh, well, that'd be cool if I could make money off this thing. So then I took it a little bit more seriously, trying to just finish it up. And, but I was almost like, I just don't want even my name on this, but it'd be cool to make some money off of it. And so then we got into like he took it to the American film market. We got it sold to this one distributor. And then after that market, it was at that film market. I was like, okay, I'm going to now put all my effort into a film that I actually care about. And so that's when Sator, it was seriously the day after Spectre screened that I started working on this film. So that's kind of my journey. No film school or anything.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I when we first started talking and I was doing some research into Sator, there's obviously the story of Sator and the background of it is really interesting, but I didn't see a lot where you were kind of talking about your history, and I'm like, we got to know where Jordan comes from, what Jordan's done before this, to really like, inform what we're watching and what you did. So I think it's super interesting. So the first thing before we get into the process of Sator, You were talking about how you had a really small budget with Midground. How, and I read that you got like a, not like a gift, but someone basically like, you know, offered to give you half of the amount for Sator. So
I won't tell you exactly the price because so Spectre cost $1,500 to make. You can find it on IMDb. But when I tried when the sales agent wanted to pick it up, they didn't like how that price was out there because that can affect sales. So he went back on there and switched it to like $3 million. I was like, what do you know? So I went back there and I fixed it after Sator or Spectre did its thing. So I'm not making that mistake on this film. So I won't say what the budget was. But the process was, I was at a bar with my friend, and I don't even know how it was brought. He just randomly brought it up. He was like yeah, I'll loan you half of this. I'd like to have a percentage, and you know, I want the money back. And like, what? All right. And so, and so I've been saving up a little bit of money through wedding videography. So I dug into that and financed the other half of it, and at least getting started. And so I bought the Red Scarlet.
Nice. I was going to ask you what you used. So
yeah. So the body, I just bought the body of that new. So that was like $10,000, something like that. Now you can find it probably even new for like $3,000 or something now. But so I bought the body of that, and then everything else to get it working was all used, half broken stuff. Like my viewfinder, when that came in, it had because it was used, there was like some scratches in it. Yeah. But it like it made like yellow splotches throughout the whole thing, and it kept getting worse throughout the time, so I could barely see out of it. And so I had it all had to work. So anyway.
It's really interesting, and I like that. It was something that I wanted to kind of touch on at the end that I was going to bring up, but I'm glad you brought it up now. Is, you know, you made this as kind of a testament to those guys that talk to you, and to, I mean, us, we're indie artists, indie filmmakers, whatever it may be, and this movie really is a testament to doing shit yourself, and that you can get it done.
That's my.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. I was just gonna say that's that's sort of my favorite story to hear. Like I love that you just kind of got beat up for a little bit, and you just got a whole lot of fuck it in your system and said, no, I'm gonna make this movie my damn self. Yeah. Sometimes you need that fuck it, No. That was definitely kind of where I was at. I had absolutely no like connections anywhere that could help me. And I wouldn't recommend you making a film by yourself at all, like that. Like, have just even you two working together on one thing would be so much better than just yourself, because that especially like, because I had a certain quality that I was aiming for, and once when you start getting to that, then it's just the longer it's going to take. And so it drained me, definitely. It was I mean, I was very confident in myself before going in. Again, I had 14 years of already doing this stuff, so that was good. But let's dive in. So you start Sator. You have this mindset, I'm gonna make a movie myself. You have, a script or an idea of a script initially, like one idea. And from everything I've seen, you started in 2013, right? Yes. So 14. When I start 2013. So that's when I started writing and collecting all the props and trying to figure out funding. So because I was already, since I knew I was going to do this myself too. So well, actually, I don't know if I knew that I was going to do it myself at the very beginning when I started writing, but I was writing and then doing that Kickstarter, and I knew that I was going to be doing a lot by myself. So
I was already collecting
Yeah.
like the refrigerator that I think the refrigerator in the film was the very first thing that I found, because that was I just saw it on the side of the road next to the thrift shop, like around the building on the thrift shop. And so I was like, okay, I might be able to use this. So that was the very first thing. But then I knew I was going to be building the cabin soon. So I started collecting pallets all around town, because people will sell those, but some were selling them for like $5-10 a pallet, or even $20 a pallet. And it's like, you can find them for free if you look hard enough. So
yeah. Let's actually, before we even jump into the details, I just want to let the people listening know that you didn't just like make this movie by yourself. When we say he did it completely alone, he did everything. He built the sets himself. He completely world building by yourself. And there's so many small things about that people don't think about.
I did like I always give kind of like so I don't get caught in a lie. Like I did have, so the cabin took me 2 months to build. I did have a person come out there to help me like get framing up, and there are things that I could not lift myself. So I had one person help me. Probably there's like 2 or 3 days there that I had somebody come and help me, but within that 2 months. So there wasn't really any more than that for the cabin. And then same with shooting the film. We'll before we get we'll get all into that, but like shooting the film, I shot for 120 days, and I had most of those days it was myself and an actor or two. I did have 10 days there where there was a person helping me doing things. Like no one was allowed to touch the gear. So they were holding like a hose or an umbrella or something like that. And then in post-production, I was completely alone. So anyways, we can jump back now.
No, that's perfect. I like that you kind of touch on those things, because you may have a semblance of help, like someone has to, or like the really nice tracking shot of the car, like where I'm assuming you're in the bed of a truck.
So I had somebody driving the truck, and I'm sitting on the hood there filming from there. Yeah, so exactly like that. I only had one day where I had 3 people help me for an hour, and that's with the beard burning at the end, because that was just 2 days. I had somebody hold the hose, I had somebody light the beard, and I had somebody squeeze the water extinguisher that let out red water. So I set it all up. I hooked up the tubes and everything. It's just I had to hold the camera, and I couldn't have any. But that was one day for 1 hour out of the 120 days. That was my big day on set, was those 3 people.
I was gonna say, I think you get that leeway. So let's jump into it. You said 120 days. So day 1 through 9 pass, right? Day 10 is like the day where things changed, kind of the paradigm shift from everything that I've seen. So go into the setup that you had for day 10, and that's kind of where the story begins. If you don't mind talking about that.
So I already had, like, before that, like I had a script, and I had a friend, which when I was finished the script, he read it, and he wanted, like, he thought I could structure it better. So we structured it all, like we had like a big like note what do you call it, post-its, and we were structuring everything. And then so I did have like a full script at that point. I don't really remember a lot of it. I know how to do with like aliens or something like that. So then I go into day 10, and it was because the reason why I shot in my grandmother's house was a budget restraint. That cabin, I was not expecting the cabin to look as good as it did. So I wanted another place that looked similar. There's a whole, I do remember there's another scene where, because there's Evie in the film. Mm-hmm. She was originally in like a pet shop, I think, or a convenience store, and not at the grandmother's house. And there was one location that I wanted to do that in. I was trying to find a place that was just as interesting. And I was like, well, I know my grandmother's house. The grandmother's house is where I shot the Indiegogo at campaign video. And it's like, okay, we'll shoot here. And then it's like, well, maybe I could put my grandmother in there as like a quick cameo shoot. Mm-hmm. It'll just be one scene. And if I don't like it, then I'll cut it. And that was it. So we go over. So I take Michael, the one with the big beard, Pete. I take him over there and I say, we're like, you're going to meet my grandmother on camera. I'm going to hide you in the back room, and you're going to come out. And I gave them topics to talk about. Like, I was just things that would get her riled up. Like, she hates that my aunt, the one that wrote the description, she hated that she came into the house and cleaned it. So I told Michael to talk about that because that'll get her going. And then I said, talk about spirits. And she, so Mikey comes out there and he's like, oh, hey, Nani. And she didn't know, like I said, pretend to be Travis because she has a nephew named Travis, but she hasn't seen him in a long time. And he never had a beard. So she was definitely confused of who that was. And then she just starts talking about the automatic writings, or she started talking about voices in her head. Like Mikey was like, started like, oh, I heard there's spirits around here. And she's like, yeah, like, well, they talked to me and I used to do something called automatic writing. And it's like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Like how random is that? She's never shared that with my family before. I mean, my family experienced it, but they were way too young to really remember. And she never talked about it. And she just happened to talk about it while we were doing this improvisational scene. And then I go home after that and trying to figure out how I'm going to put this into the film. I knew I had something super unique here. And then I decided, that I'm going to, this is something I've never heard about before. I'm going to pursue this more. I'm going to get more of her talking about these automatic writings. And every time I would shoot with her, you can't predict what she's going to say. You can't tell her to say anything. And so she just talks, and I would try to figure out I would take a week-long break since I had financed the film basically myself. And, and I had all the time in the world. So I would just take long breaks to figure out how to make these scenes work. And then when I was in post-production, dementia got really bad for my grandmother, so she couldn't stay in that house anymore. And that's when I started clearing. Sator wasn't even part of this film yet. Right. Sator wasn't even a part of the film while I was even shooting. I knew about Sator. Sator was always like her guardian. I think I even told Michael that don't talk about Sator because that might make this film confusing. If she brings it up, don't bring it up because I don't even know like how I'd even use that in the film. Right. But then when I was clearing out her house after she was in the hospital, I found these two boxes. One was her journals, one was all of those automatic writings, all the ones you see in the film, all the scribbles. Like I didn't create any of those. That was all hers. And then there's another box that was her journals. Like she had a journal, like 1,000-page journal documenting from 1968, or it was in 1968. It was 3 months from when she met Sator, conjured him up through a Ouija board, became obsessed with him, and then she ended up in a psychiatric hospital by the end of it. And so I read all this stuff, and it's like, wow, Sator, this is crazy. I have to incorporate Sator now into this film because I want to adapt those journals one day into a film. It won't be a horror film, and I want to stay in this genre for a while, and I need to kind of get away from Sator for quite a few years. So
after 7 years,
I'll return to that eventually. But right now I have like the actual person that experienced this in my film, and it's just so lucky that something that is this personal to me and to my family, and it just happened. Like, this is such a fascinating story as it is. It happens to be in my family, and she just happened to share it while we were doing an improvisational scene that changed the whole fucking movie.
Yeah.
So then now, it was a race against time to get my grandmother to talk about Sator because dementia was taking over. So the first time I shot with her, I got like almost everything. But I shot with, it wasn't really shooting. It was more like getting audio, and then figuring out how to incorporate the audio in there about Sator. And then I did this a few times, but then the very last day that I shot with her was actually the very opening shot of the film, where she's it's that black and white shot, and she's saying like Sator's in charge of me, my life, me. It's like what opens the movie with that dialogue, and she and at that point I was like, I since Sator is this whole film, and we don't really get to him until a little bit later, I'd love to open up the movie and just know right away that this is about Sator. That'll at least get like that. The movie's already so vague enough as it is. Like, let's at least give somebody something to wonder about right away. So then I go to my grandmother, and I have that Hi8 camera, and I'm just filming her face for about 40 minutes. And I keep asking her, like, who's Sator, Nani? Who's Sator? And she like didn't remember. And eventually she got those like 3 sentences in there. So, so it's just all about luck, like that guy didn't offer me that loan, at that time. And I waited like probably even just a month. I wouldn't have been able to get any of this. Like, it would have a completely different film, and a film that like this, I grew so much as a filmmaker, learning about my grandmother and how to capture certain things and capture the realness. And I want to, I've talked to people, and they like people that I've met now kind of in the industry, and they want me to kind of continue along that route. But like, I'm not going to be, that was just such a random, like the including documentary with fiction. I was like, I'm not going to force that. That was such an organic kind of thing that happened, and something that just fell into my lap that meant a lot to me. But it did change me of how I want to approach dialogue in the future and have things more real, I guess. And so I've been writing like, I'm not trying to get into my next scripts right now, just an idea of like just how I've been writing. I've been writing since COVID, and I've been writing for the last couple of years on a couple of scripts. And I'm like, I could tell that I'm such a better storyteller and more confident writing now compared to when I started writing in 2013 on this script, because if I ended up making that one, it would not be getting the attention that it is at this moment. So I'm just so much luck, and with that, having my grandmother, and then with weather, having like the perfect weather randomly hit.
So I know Sean, you wanted to talk about kind of speaking of weather, kind of talking about the woods and the cinematography. Really quick before we dive into that, just talking about the role of Nani, right? And working with your grandma. So I mean, I personally, I have a grandma who's 101 years old and has dementia. Yeah, right. No, I mean, and so how did it feel for you to be able to, kind of connect with her on that level? Like, obviously it's a different kind of connection because, she has dementia, and it's a different way of kind of responding to things. But just being able to have that, being able to include her in this narrative that you're creating and in this project that you finally have, what does that mean to you?
At the end of it, at the very, very end, like I couldn't connect to her really at all because she was like gone at that point. But like, while like in the beginning stages, that was so valuable. Like, not so much the story that I'm trying to get, but just being able to hang out with her. She loved the attention and loved. She would call me up after every time we'd shoot. She would call me up and leave messages being like, "Oh, when are your friends going to come and hang out with me?" And so I got to bond so much with my grandmother. When like I've been around my grandmother my entire life, and like probably would see her at least once a week, but our relationship was never like strong before Sator. I mean, I was always like pranking my grandmother. You can actually find on YouTube, if you look up grandmother opens chocolate iPhone. And I gave her an iPhone and that actually got that went viral. That got like 3 or 4 million views.
Oh, geez.
And that one, so I gave her, my grandmother hates technology and new technology, and she never wanted a cell phone. So I gave her a chocolate cell phone, and she flipped out over it. So I'm always like that was kind of like my relationship with her, is always kind of like doing innocent, like little pranks.
Right.
Like another one that I would do is, so I would sit in a chair like this, and we'd be at the dining room table, and I'd like look at her and then go, and we just crack up. So that was, but that was like the extent of our relationship. So then when I was making the film, I was hanging out with her all the time. And so we got to like really kind of bond over everything. And that to me was like more than making the film about the story and trying to gather the information. It was just like, I had to set up stuff. And so I'm hanging out there with her doing that. So that was, it was more the bonding thing that I really appreciated. And,
yeah, no, that's invaluable. And that's awesome. I think that was the biggest thing I took away from, like, can read all you want about the story, but I think being able to have that tie-in, like the familial tie-in, and then be able to bond like that is awesome. So you're filming, and we'll get into kind of like the cinematography aspect of it now, because I know that that's something that Sean and I both talked about. Sean, I know you had some questions about that.
Yeah. So, well, real quick, I want to say, again, I watched the movie before I read the article. I didn't know anything. So honestly, while watching the movie, I mean, I think all the actors gave a great performance, but I was sitting there thinking, wow, like this, this old lady is the best actor in this whole damn movie. And it was super, interesting in hindsight to be like, oh, that's because she
sells it. She sells the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny because I wrote notes while watching it, and I was writing, parts of this feel like a documentary, but it's all super beautiful, which I'm going to tie that into the cinematography in a second. It was the weirdest, in a delightfully strange combination of a documentary feel mixed with this beautiful cinematography and like really solid world building. I believed everything from your sets to your, again, cinematography to your locations. Yeah, no, absolutely.
It's always nice. It's always nice to hear. I don't read the reviews. So unless the good ones come up and somebody tells me, like today was The Guardian wrote a really good review. They gave me 4 out of 5 stars today. So that was really cool. But so when I get to hear it like out of people's mouths like this, or like it's always a reassuring.
Yeah, dude, in my notes, I wrote who the fuck was the cinematographer like 6 times. I was like, this shit is beautiful. And I kept commenting on visually the movie, but we'll jump into that. But yeah, in an ending whatever on our last little segment, I love that. And I know you were searching kind of for the word organic, and I think that organic is like the perfect way to describe,
thank you,
at least from an outsider view, what happened. You went out to make this movie, and I think you even said you were thinking about aliens initially.
I think that was, God, I mean, it's just, I mean, because you can even see it, like how there's that little dot of light. And
it zooms. Dude, I geeked out about it for like 10 minutes with Steve yesterday. I was like, what was that?
Yeah.
Did you do that?
Yeah. How I shot that though was there was a little light in my garage that was peeking through the door. And so how to get, like, because of course you can put it in After Effects and have it shoot across if you want, but you're not going to get, well, maybe you can if you're good enough, but I'm not. So like, you're not going to get that natural trail. So all I did is film the light and then move the camera like this really quickly. So it gives you that natural trail. And since it was black all around it, I put it in there. I think I just did it in, I don't even know if it was even Photoshop. It might've just been, or not Photoshop, After Effects. It might've been just Premiere. And then I just keyed it out, and then it just, oh no, I did do it in After Effects, because then as it goes, I blurred it out and then made it look like it had like some depth almost when it was going through no, there wasn't clouds in there. I'm thinking.
I think there were clouds.
I think there were some clouds.
I did that. I did the effects 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So,
right. Well, dude, I got to tell you, you fooled the hell out of me, man. I think especially because you don't, that's the only alien-esque thing other than
you see that spaceship that like during his dream sequence, it kind of like, it's that black dot that goes up there.
Yes,
that
that's
was just the black dot in Photoshop. So that was just, I just put a the black dot and then just moved it up.
Just taking over the trees. Yeah.
I think because I had, demon in my mind, I wasn't thinking sci-fi, space, anything. And so that shot also, it just kind of looked like he was contemplating in that moment. And when that happened, I thought that was an organic thing that happened in the sky. And I was like, did no one else notice?
Oh, that's cool.
Because I've been geeked out about aliens the past 2 years. I'm losing my mind.
So definitely that's kind of how I wanted to, because I was really trying to figure out make sure if this creature or whatever this is out there. I keep saying creature. That's what I've been like. There's going to be a creature in there, but it's not a creature. But that's why I say it. But
an entity.
Entity. But I didn't want people to know whether it was like a spirit or an alien or a human being. So I always want people like, what is underneath that costume? And keep that mystery, because I loved like the Blair Witch Project and how you don't see the witch at the end. And I would have done that in this film, but since the film is a very slow pace, I did want there to be some payoffs at the end of the film and not cheat the audience completely. So
I think that I say it all the time. It's interesting because I love monster designs. I love getting to see the monster, but the scariest monster in a movie is the one that you barely see, like just shadows, vague, or not see at all. I love that you talked about Blair Witch and but okay, so we're definitely going to come back to Sator's design later, but I really want to talk about, I'm very curious about that forest, because there's a lot of movies that they take place in a forest, and you kind of just get like a generic forest vibe, but you did not get that at all. Like you created you had so many cool locations in this forest, just trees. Like you had that crazy stone wall, and I think there was this one really thick tree that almost like split off into two.
That he stands on.
That was actually that was one of the pickup shots when I was already like 2 years into post-production, that we had a storm and that tree happened to fall, and I was with that actor. I wasn't even filming. We just went on a hike, and I saw that, and I'm like, oh man, we need to go out there. And his beard was already shaven off at that point, so that's why you don't see it. But so that was, I was very particular, like very. I spent quite a while finding the right location. We didn't just go out into the woods. I mean, I know that area very well. It was all within the Santa Cruz, California mountains, most besides 2 days in Yosemite. But I was very like trying to find the right places. That like that dirt road took quite a while to find. But not just being on a dirt road. Like I found a lot of dirt roads, but it had to be like a lot of, especially in California, when you're going on a dirt road or any road that's within the trees, it's usually like along a slant. And I really wanted to find a dirt road that was like not on a hill, but you could just see trees, like almost endless trees. And so, in my area, that's kind of hard to find. So I did find that, and then those like ruins, spread around the area. Like I've known about those and for a while. But then also I had like very strict rules of how I would shoot it as well. One strict rule mainly was no evidence of sun. I didn't want to see any sun coming through the trees. And one reason, because I'm so used to shooting on DSLR cameras and cameras that just have horrible dynamic range, and even great cameras still have a really hard time with it, is when you have sun peeking through, it's either really underexposed or it's really overexposed, or at the same time. You get like the shadows underexposed and the sun coming through is overexposed. And even with your own eye, if you go out into a forest and you see sun coming through, you can't see it, like it almost like blinds you. You can't see every little detail in there. So I was very the very set of main rule was no sun keep coming through. So we would go out to look if it wasn't foggy, or if we didn't have a sunset or something like that. We would go out there and wait hours sometimes for the sun to just get right behind the tree. Like I would see like this little spot coming out, and it's like and it hit the ground, hit the road or whatever, and like I was able to get some of my close-ups and work around it. But then for the wide shot, it's like, no, we're waiting until that's gone, or unless it gets to a point where I can maybe paint it out. So there were a few shots where you could still see white light peeking through the trees. It wasn't like the sun wasn't bleeding through, but it's still white light. So, and the camera was still, so I was able to go in Photoshop and paint those out. And I really wanted everything to be in camera as much as possible too. I was not like, there's no sky replacements or anything like that. I really wanted it to be mine as much as possible. I did do a couple of green screen things, but almost all of them didn't end up in the film because I'm not good at keying stuff out. So
I'd really, like Sean said, man, the one thing, you know, the story's really good, and I like the pace. Like you said, it's slow, but I mean it is a slower film, but I think with, you know, you're kind of at the tail end, but I think in the good, like, you know, zone of like the elevated horror sort of genre, as I wear a Midsummer shirt, like that sort of stuff, you know what I mean? Like it's in, you know what I mean? And I think it definitely fits, but I think, you know, 100% people will watch this film and take the visuals away as like one of the highlights. And I'd be super surprised if you didn't hear people talking about, you know, come be our cinematographer sort of thing. Because
about what? Sorry.
About like, you know, come be our cinematographer.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, I don't want to be like I wouldn't mind having a cinematographer on working for me. Like, I know how to make things pretty, but like this is my very first time using film lights, and I don't the technical names for things. I'm learning them, but like I know exactly what I want my things to look like, but I would like to have like a trained cinematographer or somebody that really focuses on every aspect of cinematography to come and light what I'm wanting. But who knows? Like,
I was gonna say you definitely.
It depends on the project. Like I have there's one project that I'm writing that I would love to shoot on actual film, which I have never done before. So I'd have to have a cinematographer for that. But then there's another one that I'm writing that I wouldn't really want it on film. And so maybe I'll do cinematography for that. I don't know. It depends. Like I'm not making a film by myself again. So,
so it doesn't matter.
You have such a good eye. Like you created, I don't even know. There was just this overall mood and vibe, and everything like visually coherently just went together so perfectly.
Thank you.
Throughout that whole movie, from again, just from like in frame itself to your location, to the tones you put on it, to your lighting, to your transition from shot to shot, like visually. Hear that you consider yourself like, I don't know, that you would want to bring someone else. I get wanting the help, but I'm just like, you got to make you got to be in charge of it.
I like to, it's I guess it would work fast. I don't know. It's it's very, very particular. Like what you said, like, I'm very particular about my composition. I don't like moving the camera that much. I love knowing every little thing that's in my shot right in frame. So that's one thing. And especially for this film, like every cut and where the cut is and the duration of the shot is very important to keep that dreamlike, trance-like mood, and while keeping the cameras like, it's all trying to give you a trance-like feeling. The movie, I feel like, is kind of like a mood piece, like very atmospheric. I want people going in there not really like, you're not going to get the plot the first time. Like kind of just go in there and just allow yourself to be in a mood. And in order to do that, I lighted a certain way, and making sure that the sky was, or the natural light was a certain way. My cuts aren't quick. They cut at a certain time. The camera moves at a certain pace, like just very slow or not at all. It just all adds to that trance-like mood, and it's definitely not going to be for everybody. So, but that's okay, because I was making this film for filmmakers, and to make something as unique as I possibly could to stand out. So hopefully doors will open. Wasn't caring how commercial this was because I want to stand out as much as I possibly can to the right groups of people and the right people that would be interested in this sort of thing. And I mean,
100%.
Yeah, I definitely, I think that not to like speak for you, but from everything that you've said and what you intended to make, it feels like you made that movie. You know what I mean? After watching it, yeah, it feels like you, at least from my point of view, you made the movie that you've described wanting to make, which I think is really cool. We're coming up on almost an hour, and we could talk about a million things, but one thing I want to touch on. We've said it before. You spent 7 years on this movie, right? And you said that you want to feel the same way about the movie. You wouldn't change certain things because you want to feel, how you feel. You want to make the movie that you want to make. Mm-hmm. 7 years after starting it, mm-hmm. and it, your baby's finally in the wild. Like it came out. We're recording this on what's today, the 12th, I believe, or the 11th.
Like 3 days now, 2 days now.
Yeah, it's been out a couple of days. Came out on February 9th. And it premiered at Fantasia. So you had your premiere last year. But how do you feel? Like what's your feeling about this finally being quote unquote completed?
It never feels complete. I don't know. Like I'm so relieved that I don't have to work on it anymore. So one thing, like, it's done. The festivals were really great. That was a really good introduction to the world, the cinema world, and starting to have like doors open. And now that it's out, certain things hit me. Like that Guardian review today, like got me real good. It's emotionally, this whole, like just the last 2 weeks actually, since I've been doing a bunch of press stuff, it's been emotionally draining. Like there's just I'm just not used to this much attention. And I don't know if like, I enjoy talking to you guys and getting to know people and being able to share the film, but it's definitely like, I don't really like being in the center of attention. And so it definitely, it's a new thing and it's really draining.
I bet that's why you're not the actor in the movie, right? That's why you're everything besides the actor.
Sorry?
I said that's why you're everything besides the actor.
Oh, besides the actor. Well, I mean, I am breathing, and I mean, like the voice, the whispering is my voice, and
well, yeah.
But no, because that would totally take me out of the mood of the movie. And even with when I was doing the audio, and because all the audio you hear I did in post production, except for my grandmother speaking, and I did a lot of the breaths and stuff. But if I can tell that it's my breath or my whisper, because I would adjust that in mix, I would be able to get into the zone of the film, and then I need to be able to like enjoy it or
detach from
feel it and not be like, oh, that's me in there.
Right.
So, and also just like I'm very happy. Yeah, I'm stoked that it's out there now and that people are. It seems like they're enjoying it, the right people, and I really want to get to a place where I can write a script and start giving it to people and not wonder how I'm going to finance this thing myself. And so that's kind of, it's there now. Like, so that's kind of cool. Actually, that's really cool. I wanted so badly for things to move or like doors to open and they like, it's nuts. I was like, what I was always expecting with this film is that I'd get into some place, maybe like Fantasia, start meeting like, people that are at my level, mm-hmm. and we start collaborating and move up the ladder and make the next kind of thing, right? But all of a sudden I'm having meetings with people at the very, very top, and I was like, holy shit, I was not expecting.
You busted your ass, man. You busted your ass. So I definitely would love the phone call from A24. That would be amazing. Yeah. But that's the one that I would like love. Like that's who
I made this. I shot this film before The Witch, before Hereditary.
Yeah.
Right. So like, so I feel like this is definitely kind of like in their ballpark, or I'm in their like. I would love to meet with them one day, but still, I was like, just other people. It's like, holy shit! Oh, this is crazy that I'm having these meetings, but I don't have a script for you yet. The script that I was writing, the script that I spent 2 years on, is it's really dark, heavy subject matter. It's not. I don't think the Hollywood system would really. I mean, who knows? But the people that I've been talking to are like, we're gonna have to get foreign financing for this one. But it's like, okay, I wasn't expecting to be meeting with you about this. Right. So yeah. So now I'm writing something that is still dark, but it's a lot more fun and accessible. That I feel like someplace like Netflix or might take it. Or,
I was gonna say you definitely have Shudder potential on
100%
with this one. So that's
Shudder.
Yeah, Shudder. That's Sator feels made for Shudder.
Oh, that's later on. I can't say anything about that.
Okay, cool.
I've
secrets.
I know the people. I know the people at Shudder. So
gotcha.
There you go. We didn't hear.
Yeah.
Nothing.
What are you talking about? So real quick. Just because you had said that you originally were wanting to make action movies and stuff, and it seems like, at least from what you had said, that you just sort of found your way into horror almost. I'm just curious about your thoughts on the genre and inspirations that you had growing up, or things that you liked that kind of led you here or inspired you.
Well, so like growing up, I was always afraid of horror movies, so I wouldn't watch them. Like when The Descent came out in 2005, I had a whole bunch of friends going to the theater, and they wanted me to go with them, and I waited outside because I couldn't go in there and watch them. Now I'm like at an opposite effect where nothing scares me with film, because I've been making them. And then I always thought that horror movies were dumb, right? Like that's until that was my early teen thing. Like I was just like, I feel like horror movies are like beneath me, right? Which is super pretentious and dumb to think about. And
teens.
And so then I got into my 20s and then when I started making Spectre, I started watching every found footage movie I could find. And that's when I started like really liking, I was really liking horror movies, but I wasn't, it still wasn't like, this is what I want to make yet, but I was starting to really I'm really starting to enjoy them now. And then, when with this film, when True Detective, the first season of True Detective came out, that changed everything for me. Now I know there's a lot of that made me think like horror movies can be smart, because when I think of a horror movie, I just think of pop outs and
jump scares
and that's it. And I didn't want to make those type of films. But like, and I still don't want to make those type of films, but I still enjoy them. I enjoy like The Conjuring and stuff like that. But but then like ever since True Detective, that opened up my eyes, being like, you can make films that are horror films that are smart and have something to say, even though there are plenty way before True Detective. That was just the one that just
they gotcha.
Yeah. And so then as I was making this film, then I became obsessed with like and if you consider it horror, I consider it horror. What I'm going to mention is like Eraserhead, Under the Skin, Killing of the Sacred Deer is a huge influence on my next project.
I don't know if you can see.
It's the post.
Yeah.
Big fan. Fan. Yorgos is the man.
He's a huge influence. I have all of his. I started since COVID. I started Blu-ray collecting.
You're speaking to me. Dude, I'm at like 250 titles. I got all of Yorgos' stuff.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, except I got his Dogtooth. Oh yeah, I don't have all of his stuff, but I got a Dogtooth one, but it was from, I think it might have been China or something.
Oh,
But
it's region
they
locked.
blurred out everything. They blurred out all the nudity stuff, which is, I mean, yeah, it's just they ruin the image of it. But,
Yeah,
right.
But anyways, so those are like Nicholas Winding Refn, like Only God Forgives. That's not really horror, but Neon Demon. I love Neon Demon. So I loved like the art house vibe, and of course Ari Aster's like Midsummer, and I liked Midsummer a lot more than Hereditary. I still really liked Hereditary. Really liked Hereditary. I think Midsummer is like a masterpiece. But Hereditary kind of freaked me out though, because I was already in post-production with this film when Hereditary came out, and that film, when it played at Sundance, I'm reading about it being like, this film is about the Graham family. My last name is Graham, and it has to, and it deals with the supernatural, or it deals with a grandmother that has like these talking with spirits, and I'm just like, you gotta be kidding me.
yeah.
And so I raced to find that script, and I found it, and then I read through it as quick as I could, and it was like, okay, this is completely different and than the film I have. So that was, yeah, very good first film, but his Midsummer was, to me, like his so far amazing. Same with Robert Eggers, like The Witch. Like how I colored Sator is I had screenshots of The Witch right next to mine.
Nice.
And use that as kind of a reference, because his film gets really dark there, like visually really dark. And since mine is, I put my darkest clip up next to his darkest clip and make sure that mine didn't go any darker than that. And
Smart.
So, but like, I like The Lighthouse more than The Witch. And I feel like those two directors are growing. I would love to have like their career.
Yeah, they're definitely.
We all would, but like, they're so good at writing. And actually, Ari Aster, like his writing, his scripts are so good.
It's crazy.
Robert Eggers definitely has a different style. Like I relate to Robert Eggers' atmosphere more than his screenwriting. I mean, he has his own unique, obviously, with his historical,
his period pieces, kind of.
Well, just how they speak and whatnot. But then, one of my meetings that I had with, I got to go onto the Fox studio lot, and I'm sitting in the lobby of this studio, and the actual lighthouse, the light of the lighthouse spinning I was just alone with that. It was such a trip.
That's awesome.
But then I relate more with Ari Aster as far as his writing style. Not, you can't see it in Sator, but as I'm going forward,
yeah.
There, so
no, that's awesome. Like it's cool to hear influences. I definitely see Yorgos with some of the wide shots in your film. So that's cool to see.
Like Kubrick too is a huge influence. So that's Kubrick, like you can see it. You can definitely see like with the wide shots. Like I love those wide, really good symmetry. Like which I know like Wes Anderson.
Wes Anderson
has. So like. But with with Kubrick and Jonathan Glazer and Yorgos, they love those. I love them too. The wide shot, like that.
That's awesome. No, it's cool. It's cool to see those influences, like I say, because you can pick those things out after having seen the film. So that's awesome. Well, yeah, man. We don't, like I said, we could probably talk for days. We got a lot of
non-stop.
But so Sator's VOD. Possibly streaming soon somewhere, but we're not going to talk about it.
Yeah, possibly.
And possibly
just look out for it.
Look out for it. And then, is there anything else that you want to say to everyone listening?
Just go watch it. Support me.
Go watch it.
All my money into it, so it'd be nice to see some of it back. So, enjoy
awesome.
it. Just allow yourself to get into a mood, and don't go in expecting to know the plot right away, or you're going to be really disappointed. Just going in expecting to feel something like trance like and dread and just so
horror.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you again, Jordan. We appreciate you coming
so
on the call with us. Go watch Sator right
Go
now.
watch Sator.
Don't
do
think
it.
About it.
Don't think about
just
it.
Do it.
Yeah. And we're really excited to see what you do next, man.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Thank you again.
Yeah. Nice talking with you.
Did you get a list, Bruce? Did you get more movies on your list?
Yeah, I put together a list.
All right, cool.
Did you?
Yeah.
You did?
So yeah. I think I think what we should do for this time to figure out who goes first is
Last person to shit their pants.
no, pick numbers 1 through 4 like we did last time, and then that person will start, and then we'll just go clockwise like we did before. All right, I already started recording, and I think that we started that off good enough. So we are going to be drafting our top 5 woods horror movies that take place in the woods or have a good portion of their movie in the woods.
Yeah.
Because we just interviewed Jordan Graham, who made Sator, and that movie is never leaves the woods.
It's wild, man. You guys got to see it.
A whole movie is in the woods.
You should watch it.
Yeah.
It's like the musical Into the Woods.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But it's after they go into the woods. All right. So Cameron, you're 1. I am 2. Sean, you're 3. Bruce is 4. Let's ask Siri. Pick a number 1 through 4. She said 3, just like she did last time.
What a bitch.
Which means Sean goes
What's good,
first.
bitch?
Really quick.
Because Siri knows.
Let me get my pad and paper so I can write down who's picking what.
I just have one. I'm gonna be pissed if you guys.
And I know you know I'm gonna take this one.
All right.
Do I?
Probably. I don't know.
All right, Sean. Number 1 overall pick. What are you choosing?
Evil Dead.
Of course.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
It's an obvious one.
I
Yeah.
knew it was gonna be
obvious.
one of the first
Yeah.
2 picks.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I had to.
All right.
Evil.
Bruce, what is your first pick?
Dude, my first pick is gonna be Cabin in the Woods.
Cabin in the
It's
Woods.
so good.
Yeah, I knew someone was gonna pick that too.
I was
Yeah,
trying to
I didn't think I
of
was gonna get the
movies-
first one.
There's a handful here that I feel like all of us have on our list.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of
Including
course.
those.
I was trying to think of movies that said the word woods in them, and I
Cabin
think
in
I
the-
only have one. Yeah, Cabin in Woods.
Yeah,
Cabin in-
Cabin in-
in the yeah.
God, that movie's so good, man. That movie's so good.
Yeah.
It
It's so
is.
good.
Now,
is.
just the lost potential with that movie too. They could have
In-
got so many prequels, so many side spin-offs.
Yeah.
There's so
Yeah.
much lore to it, and it's
It-
only a 2-hour movie. That
It
was
sucks because like a studio will make a movie and it does, super well and they want to turn it into a franchise and they always turn the movies into franchises that shouldn't be, but then you get this dropped in your lap, which is
Yeah.
perfect for a franchise.
Yeah,
Nothing.
loaded with material.
Mhm.
Yeah. Like
I'd eat that shit up.
that
Yeah.
last half hour could be stretched out and do a 2-hour movie with
Yeah.
sequels.
For
I'd love
real.
a show. I'd love a
What-
show.
How did
Yeah.
those little Japanese girls turn a ghost into a frog?
I gotta know. I gotta know.
That's the point. All right, Cam, what are you picking for number 1 overall?
Number 1, I'm gonna go with Annihilation. 'Cause
Oh,
that's one of my
yeah.
favorite movies in the past decade.
Nice.
I
It's
didn't even
great.
think about that.
Neither did
Yeah.
I.
It was on my list. I was
Nice.
contemplating that being my number
So
1.
I thought of that one later on. I was like, oh, that is in the woods. Like,
Yeah,
so
it's
good.
great. It's so good. One of the best movie scores in the
Oh my,
past.
yeah,
Who
absolutely.
knows how long?
Yeah.
I love it. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and take
I was
Witch off the board.
I
Oh, nice.
Nice.
as
I
my
figured you were
number
gonna pick any A24 film. I don't even think I put one on my list.
Good.
I just wanted to touch back on the Annihilation soundtrack being just marvelous, absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I need to rewatch that movie. It
Yeah,
freaked
me
me
too.
out. It's one of the
It's-
few movies in the past 5 years that I've seen that have like gotten under my goddamn skin.
It's freaky.
Sean, which Evil Dead did you choose?
Okay, so I was gonna ask. I think that when it comes to franchise stuff like that, like
Yeah.
if you say Evil Dead, you shouldn't be able to go Evil Dead 2. Like
I think you should be able to go Evil Dead 2.
I
Those
was
are
gonna
say,
completely different movies.
one of-
yeah.
Yeah. I also
One of
think
my
you should be
picks-
able to say the remake.
One of my picks
We're
is
ranking the
the
ones that we like.
I think we could
Yeah.
have a whole fucking pod or a whole episode about like the best remake of Evil Dead then.
We
Then
can
the
do
whole
that.
podcast.
Not remake, but
We can do that
Oh.
later. Which one did you choose as your number one overall?
Yeah, that is
The original?
important to me.
No, 2. I chose 2. As
That's
much
not
as
what
I
you said, though.
Well, I don't give up because I was saying Evil Dead the franchise, but
Nah,
fine.
you got to use your next turn on it.
So-
No, eat a dick. Eat a dick. My first
So-
one is 2.
Evil Dead.
Bullshit.
Evil Dead 2 was the number one overall pick. All right.
Yeah.
So I just picked the witch.
Which means we're gonna have a list. Everyone's gonna have a version of Evil Dead on their list.
I'm not gonna
for-
choose Evil Dead.
Yeah.
All right, Bruce, you start the second round.
second round, Antichrist. That movie was
Nice.
That was on
wild.
mine too, but that is by
Wow.
no means one of my favorites. I just had that
No,
just in case I
maybe
needed
one of my favorites. You didn't say. Well,
We're just doing top
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
woods
that
ones.
movie
fine, I
is brutal.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah.
penile annihilation that happens in that movie.
Oh yeah,
Annihilation.
there's
Yeah,
and
penile-
vaginal.
clitoral.
Yeah,
Yeah,
massive.
clitoral annihilation.
Clitoral.
Alrighty then.
My
Cam, what's
mom's
your
listening to this?
Oh okay.
Sorry, Judy.
I'm gonna go with The Ritual.
You
You son
bitch!
of a gun!
You bitch! That was my next one. You bitch! You
It was
bitch!
my next one.
I was gonna
No.
pick it first, but then I was like, no one's gonna pick the ritual.
Oh, I did.
You bitch!
Oh, I did. That was gonna be my one right after this that you just said.
The Ritual was really good. Is that the
Fuck
one with Rafe Spall?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think so.
it's
Yeah,
the thing. Yeah, that thing.
One of the
That big-
coolest creatures.
It's what are they?
Those
Yeah.
A Jotun,
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
like Norse mythology.
Terrifying.
That's
It's
cool.
that creature's so sick.
Damn it!
all
I'm
right,
so
well,
pissed. I was banking on that one.
I'm gonna go ahead and take. I mean, Bruce said A24, so I'll just go with Hereditary because that house is
Oh.
smack dab in the middle of the woods.
Oh, okay.
That's not the
Okay.
one I was thinking you were gonna.
Yeah, I
pick.
considered.
I'd
I
Do we
almost
say it?
say that that's pushing it, but I'll accept it.
Do we?
No,
don't
that's in
allow
the
it,
woods.
fine.
It's
Yeah.
in the
think-
wood. Their house is in the woods, but the move you don't have a lot of wood shots.
Yeah, I feel like the feeling of the house is so
I accept
isolated
it.
though because of those woods, even though they're not super prominent. That I'd count.
That's fair. I'll accept it. I accept it.
Also, a tree is a bad guy in that movie. So to be surrounded by bad guys, not good. Not good.
It's not
There's a lot of
tree.
wood
It's
in
a
the
dead
movie.
tree.
There's a lot of wood in the movie. So I
It
guess
used to
that's
be a
cool.
tree.
All right,
The telephone pole.
Sean, what's your? The tree is a villain in that movie. Sean, what's your second pick?
The Strangers.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
nice.
I
Yeah.
thought about that too, but then I didn't. Same as Hereditary, I wasn't
I
sure.
was gonna say that
But I
spends
think
more
it works on
time.
the same principle.
Yeah, it spends more time in the woods than Hereditary does, probably. But
Yeah.
I agree. That's definitely counts.
They're in the middle of nowhere, and there's a lot of like tree. You know, like they're in a wooded area
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah,
Dennis Reynolds gets it down bad.
oh, he does.
Yeah, he
Yep.
does.
He gets shot
Alright.
right in his fucking chest.
Oh,
Cam,
that part's
you
so
are
twisted.
Cam, you're starting the third round.
Okay. I think I'm gonna go with Midsummer.
Okay.
We can count it.
Nice.
Have you seen?
Yeah,
Have
it
you seen
counts.
Have you seen the deleted scenes one? The
I
director's
haven't.
I
I
haven't.
haven't.
It's maybe 67, 68 hours long.
cut? It's not. It doesn't feel that
Really
much longer,
loud.
but it has extra woods parts. So
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
we'll.
I
It's good.
definitely.
All right.
It's good.
My turn right after. We're gonna go with Blair Witch.
Yeah. Yep. Which I need to re-up on. I haven't seen Blair Witch in years, man.
You saw
Yeah,
it
okay.
with me and Olivia.
No, I didn't. When did we?
In Ann
No,
Arbor?
I think I had to miss that one. I think I saw Night of the
You went-
Living Dead, and I saw Evil Dead 2, I think, but I don't think I went and saw because they had, or no, I saw Halloween and Night of the Living Dead. I missed Blair Witch, and there was one more. There was one other one, and I missed it. I only saw Halloween and the other, and I think it was because I was working at Tyndall or something happened.
I swear I remember you being there when we saw it. I
I
don't know.
don't think
That's
so.
the last time I saw
That's
it. Was
cool
a
that
video.
you went. That's cool that you got to go see it in theaters, though.
Bro, it
Yeah.
scared the crap out of me.
Did any of
Yeah.
you see the sequel?
No.
It's not good.
I wasn't
It
expecting.
shows
it.
the witch in it, which is so dumb.
That's upsetting.
That's
Yeah.
like the whole thing.
Yeah, you're ruining the mystique of
Yeah.
and
it's like a creature
Decades.
too.
Yeah, which is, I mean, I think that aspect is cool, but I don't want to know what the Blair Witch looks like. The whole idea is that I'm in my head,
All right,
But-
Sean. Third pick.
Okay, so I'm pretty confident that you guys won't guess this one, or that none of you have it. I'm going with a movie called Cub. And it's really, really cool. I highly recommend everyone check it out.
In the third round.
Yeah. Yeah.
Third round. We love an underdog story.
I'm going with Cub. Just because I couldn't remember if Cam, whatever, and after you guys took two other ones that I wasn't expecting to leave the board super fast. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Cub. It's about like a Boy Scout troop that has some weird shit going on. I highly recommend everyone check it out. It's a foreign film. But yeah, I'm gonna put Cub down, man.
Nice.
Yep.
For sure. Bruce?
Freddy vs. Jason. It should have been my number 2 pick, but Freddy vs. Jason is damn good.
Yeah, you're right. You right.
Yeah.
Freddy vs. Jason.
Another just new metal filmed 2000s horror flick.
Yeah. The one part, man, some of the CGI in that movie is
10 out of
interesting.
10, state of the art.
All right. Starting off round number 4 with me. And while it probably could be considered not a horror movie, it was branded as a horror movie. So we're going to go with It Comes at Night.
That's what I was throwing
that's what I
between
thought.
that
It's a
and
horror movie.
Midsommar.
It's a
And
horror
I was like,
movie.
nobody's gonna pick that, so I'll say Midsummer because someone might pick that. And you got
Yeah,
It's
I
a
think
horror movie.
I think it's a horror movie.
Yeah.
It's like so much a thriller that it's a horror movie.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Movie is very, very good.
Yeah, it is really good. Anything with Joel Edgerton.
Yeah, that guy scares the
Yeah,
hell out of me.
he's very versatile.
Awesome.
Convincing.
All right, Sean, what's number 4?
Oh, it's me?
Yep.
Wait, no, why do I start again?
I just
Good luck.
started.
Oh,
4.
got
Correct
it. Did you end up saying, see, I'm running out of my stuff here. Oh no. Bruce, did you end up claiming Friday the 13th?
No.
I'm gonna take Friday the 13th part 2.
Part 2?
Yeah.
Kevin Bacon's in 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You made the wrong decision.
You like the part 2s. You got 2 part 2s so far on your list.
Yeah,
2 part 2s.
exactly.
Two Dos
Yeah,
Equis.
Sean's a sucker for a sequel, man.
That's not
I
true.
like 3.
Bruce, what are you thinking?
Number
for a
3?
fourth pick?
Number 4?
Number 4.
I'm gonna chalk one up to Antrim. It was really cool. It was fun.
Nice.
That's a good.
Wow.
Yeah.
What is-
Holy
What is
shit.
Antrim?
Antrim is like
Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah,
Don't
no,
say
no,
it.
no.
Don't
I
say
was
a word.
I was
Fucking
just
word.
gonna say what it's marketed as.
It's an evil film.
But- I'll
I
say
need to wa-
nothing.
It's
I need to
called
watch
it's
it.
called Antrim, the
Yeah.
deadliest film ever made.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
Okay.
what I
that's
need
all
what
was
I
gonna
need
say.
you and anybody listening or
Yeah.
watching this to do is to go onto Amazon Prime,
Yeah.
turn all the lights off,
All
and
of
watch Antrim.
No touching your
Wow.
fucking phone. No
Wow.
Touch your
poking
phone.
around.
I've
Watch
got
the movie.
3 new recommendations. This
Yeah,
chat so
that's-
far.
Yeah.
What were you?
That's the first film to give me like chilly willies. Yeah, in a long
In a
time.
minute.
Sean and I were just talking about a specific shot in that movie.
I know exactly what shot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, go watch Antrim.
All right, I will.
Yeah, go watch Antrim. This episode has been presented
Mm-hmm.
by Antrim.
Yeah.
The deadliest film ever made.
All right, Cam, what's your fourth pick?
I'm going to pick the Evil Dead remake because I had that and Evil Dead 2 as possible top 5s, even though they're sort of same franchise.
I also want to state,
But it's just a solid remake, and it's
Yeah.
good.
since we're doing
Absolutely.
that, I want to express to the listeners at home that I fucking love that movie. And I
Oh, yeah.
wanted to
Yeah.
pick it when you guys start playing around with the rules on me. But I had to go to, but I respect your pick.
All right, and then we got the final round. I'm gonna ask Siri to help us one more time. Pick number 1 through 4.
This pitch picks 3.
Is
It's
it really?
3
Get
again.
out of here!
Steve rigged it, dude. It's fake Siri. It's not even Siri.
Why would I
Sean
read it
works
so
at-
Sean gets first?
Oh, I don't know.
Because, man. All right, now here we go. You ready?
Sean?
I'm gonna go with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original one, because of the dude. The most famous scene in that movie is the
that's
chase through the
fine.
woods. That
Yeah.
her running through the woods screaming for that 20 fucking minutes near the end.
It's so long.
It's
That's fair. I get
yeah.
that. Only because that's such an iconic.
I was about to say if that scene wasn't as impactful as it is, I don't think I would count it either. But
I didn't even think about that. Lindsay was like, maybe Texas Chainsaw, and I was like, that's not in the woods at all. That
I-
totally is.
I thought about it on the fly here because I don't have any other options. I was about it was either this or I jump into Goosebump episodes with Werewolf of a Fever Swamp. But all right, yeah.
All right, Bruce, wrap up your list.
Cabin Fever.
Nice.
Nice.
Talking about pick 5? Yeah, Cabin Fever. That shaving scene is brutal.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about that shaving scene.
Yeah, it's nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole movie is fun.
Are you said original?
No, the
The remake?
yeah,
2000 whatever.
yeah. Yeah, movie's good.
That is a movie.
It is a film.
It's a horror film.
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
a horror film
Uh-huh.
in
Yeah.
the woods, and it's a spookum.
Yep.
Maybe not a
definitely
spookum
counts.
scary, but like
Definitely fits.
yeah.
All right, Cam, finish your list off.
All right, I'm torn with my last 3, but I'm gonna go with The Descent. That movie scared the shit out of me when I first saw
The
it.
trailer scared the shit out of me, dude.
And it's just
Okay.
so claustrophobic.
Are they in the
You guys have
woods?
seen it.
They're in a cave.
They're in a hole in the woods.
Yeah.
They go in the middle of the
Oh,
woods and climb
yeah.
into a cave. But
Yeah.
I didn't realize.
Another one I'd say that you're pushing it, but
I can pick. I have other picks if that doesn't count. okay.
It's okay.
They just
Let's take a vote. There's 3 of us.
okay.
Oh, you
I
wanna-
won't be offended
Yeah.
if you say no. It's
What do
in the
we
woods,
think?
but it's a
I
think it counts.
think I would technically say no, but I'm not mad. My vote is going to be no, but also it's fine.
Okay. That's okay.
Just because I
Let's-
want Steve.
Let's
to
say
whatever.
that because you want me to decide.
Yeah.
Let's say that the Descent is a great movie that I think is
hear one of your
mostly about them in a cave.
Okay.
Let's pick something else for the fifth.
Let's
one.
hear
Okay,
it.
that's totally fine.
I voted for you.
I'm gonna go with Wrong Turn.
Nice.
There you go. Yeah. Yep. I was wondering when someone was going to say it.
You know,
I forgot about it.
this franchise. Every movie's about the same in this franchise, so I just
That's
said
true.
Wrong Turn. Right
They
there.
are rebooting it. It's
For
this
real?
year.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wrong turn?
Oh.
No.
There's a new
Wrong Turn
I think
9 is
it's
a
just-
thing that happened.
Yeah, I think it's just Wrong Turn this year, or The Wrong Turn.
Can we make a movie that's just like Slit Face 9, and that's the first one, and
Slit
just
Face
make, like,
9?
yeah, make a
Slick Face 9.
Slit Face, just
Oh,
or something. Just it's insert.
And then he does this.
I didn't mean that. I was just the first thing that came to my mind. The point is some sort of terrible, just like really whatever slasher flick, but skip all the other ones and go straight to 9.
Straight to 9.
Straight to 9, man.
Wrong
So
turn
the
12,
lore
you
is set
turn
up
left
and you just
again.
gotta
Yeah, act like there's previous lore.
yeah.
Wait, wrong turn 9? I haven't seen the first 8 wrong turns. That's the point.
That's the point.
How many turns do they make before they're going the right way?
Fuck.
Is 9 where they start going in the right direction?
Yeah.
Like wrong
Wrong turn
12,
9. We got it.
You to go west.
Finally getting to CVS.
Uh,
All right. I have the last pick. I'm
Last
gonna
one?
go with The Lodge.
I
while-
don't think I saw that.
it's
While
good.
I wasn't a fan of it initially, I watched it again and I like it more.
Yeah. Well, you
But
liked when we saw it. It felt like you would say something, and I'm like, oh, he likes it, and then you would say something else. And I'm like, didn't like it.
it didn't live up to my expectations. I was
Of what you were-
expecting Hereditary 2, essentially, because
guess
I was
that's
like
fair.
on my elevated horror kick,
Yeah.
which I always am. But
Mhm.
I was like expecting that. But I mean, the movie's good. It's a good movie. And
Yeah.
It's freaky. It's definitely, and
Um,
Riley Keough's really good in it. So, do we have any honorable mentions like last time?
The only one I have left on my list that wasn't taken is Green Inferno, and I was surprised Bruce didn't take it.
That's what I was gonna say. I completely forgot. I thought of it halfway through this podcast. That would probably be my number 1. It'd probably
So
be
you
my
love
number
that
1 or
movie.
number 2. I
Yeah.
love the Green Inferno. Another Eli Roth film. Also ridiculous. Also
I-
just a film.
I never saw it. I still need to see it.
Oh, really?
Dude,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eli Roth just doesn't do it for me.
No.
He's-
Well,
I
guess what? He's our next guest.
understandably.
No, I like how balls to the walls he goes, balls to the wall.
Yeah.
But his movies aren't fantastic. I mean,
I like
No.
him in Inglorious Bastards, and that's enough
Oh, he's
for me.
great. Yeah.
yeah.
He's a ton of fun.
Hmm.
I probably not some of my absolute favorite whatever, but clearly has like made a name for himself in the genre. Nothing but respect for Eli Roth.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, absolutely.
in the
Yeah.
same sense of like for the same reason that the Saw movies blew up, the Hostel movies blew up.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I
Um,
love Saw.
And they're not great.
there are. Did Eli Roth do Cabin Fever?
The remake.
He
Yeah.
did the remake. Yeah.
Yeah. He did that Haunt movie on Shudder, and I that was fun. I did like.
haven't
I
seen
didn't
it.
realize that was him,
Yeah.
or at least I forgot. But Haunt was a lot of fun. I really liked Haunt.
And then
I didn't see it.
did either of you see Clown?
No,
Yeah. Oh my God, that was wild.
That
that's
one's
the.
super
I'm not
weird,
going to
yeah.
say anything else, but Tub.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
I still didn't see it, but I know about that part.
don't remember.
So a couple of other ones that we didn't say. Have you guys ever seen not the movie Ma, but the movie Mama?
Guillermo del Toro.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Del Toro.
He produced it, I think.
That's fair.
Oh,
I
I
didn't
thought
even
you-
think
I
about
thought you
that.
were-
It's that's basically in the woods, and it's creepy. It's really good.
Fuck, could I have said Pan's Labyrinth?
Yeah.
Oh, I would have picked Pan's Labyrinth. Hey, they're in the woods. There's
I feel like yeah.
the Labyrinth, but
The
I feel like
Labyrinth.
I was gonna say I feel like that movie and The Descent.
That's what I was
in
gonna
the
say. It's
house-
like just as
Same
much
way.
woods as Descent is.
she goes into a goddamn tree in the movie. How much more in the woods can you get than going into a goddamn tree?
They go into a hole in the ground in the forest. It's the same principle
You right.
in Descent.
You right.
Another
You're
movie
right.
is Misery. Another house in the woods,
Oh, okay, yeah.
which kind of is something that we
I
were
just
talking about.
watched it a couple days ago too. Again, I love
Houses
it.
in the woods count, but holes and trees in the woods don't count.
I think I was gonna say I would honestly, if someone had picked Misery, I probably would have. I would have voted against it the same way I did Descent.
But what about Hereditary? Why do you vote for Hereditary then?
Oh yeah.
I kind of thought I told him that was pushing it too, but
fair.
everybody else was on board. But it's fine. Like I'm not saying cheater.
No, I
There's a
know.
cheater in the forest. I'm just saying.
I think it's
There's a cheater in the forest.
There we go.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Insert clip of
Yeah, Lion's Blade, Olin Rogers.
insert it right here. Olin Rogers. Cool. All right. Well,
Yeah.
we'll let the people decide when they see the draft who they think.
Sounds good.
Wanna
Actually
recap
picked.
what they were real quick?
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. So see, starting with Cam up here for me, we have Annihilation, The Ritual, Midsummer, The Evil Dead remake, and Wrong Turn. Like I got right here. I chose The Witch, Hereditary, Blair Witch Project, It Comes at Night, and The Lodge. Sean has Evil Dead 2, The Strangers, Cub. Just gonna assume that that's a real movie.
It's good.
Friday the
None of us have heard of
13th.
it.
Yeah, Friday the 13th Part 2 and Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And Bruce has Cabin in the Woods, which I think is a great number one pick.
Yeah.
Cabin in the Woods, Antichrist, Freddy vs. Jason, Antrim. Number one underrated pick in the whole draft.
Yeah, agreed.
And then the remake of Cabin Fever.
Yeah.
We found a lot of Woods movies. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a
Heck
bunch
yeah.
that I didn't think of, which is cool.
Yep. Same.
Yeah. About 15 of them I didn't think of. Any movie
everything
that you
except for
guys
mine.
named, I basically didn't think of. I was drawing a blank.
That's all
And
good.
then, I mean, I've seen almost every movie on this spread. I've not
Oh,
seen
yeah.
Cub. I've not even heard of Cub.
I haven't
We'll all
seen-
watch it.
I'm gonna have
Cub,
to
Antrim,
go
or The
search.
Lodge. I haven't seen.
Yeah, I haven't seen The Lodge either. We'll have to watch that soon.
The Cub is on or at least it was on Shutter. A couple years ago. I don't know if it's still on there.
Did
Let me see.
anybody watch The Little Things?
The
No,
on HBO
have you
Max.
seen it? Yeah.
No, I haven't watched it yet.
Are you saying Wicked Little Things?
No,
No,
the little
it's
things.
just-
It's
No.
The
Jared
Little
Leto,
Things.
Rami Malek, and Denzel Washington.
Oh,
we were
yeah, I
we
know
were
what you're
gonna
talking
go see it in Jersey a couple weeks ago, but didn't end up going.
about.
But
Oh, no.
I heard it was okay.
Yeah,
I
would
honestly
like to
could
watch
have
that.
said Wicked Little Things, or no, I guess that's more on a farm. You guys should watch Wicked Little Things.
What
by
is
either way.
that? I don't think I've
It's
heard of it.
it's one on Shutter. Yeah, I don't want to ruin anything. You should just watch it. It's fun.
Okay.
It's not
Yeah,
Little
what is it?
Monsters, is it? Is that what you're
No,
talking
it's called like Wicked Little Things. Here,
Oh.
one second.
about? There's a
don't
movie
have
on
my phone
Shudder, or actually no, it's on Hulu called Little Monsters.
Oh, I've seen
Yeah.
Little Monsters. But no. Here, wait.
Wait.
Wicked
Everyone
Little.
listening's just gotta wait for Sean to.
Hey, yeah. But I just want to make sure
Soft
that
elevator
I'm not,
music.
that it's not a fucking fever dream that I had.
Wicked Little Things, 2006.
Oh, no. Actually, you know what's funny? Wicked Little Things is totally a thing. I'm pretty sure that like Chloe Grace Moretz is in that goddamn movie. It's not what I was talking about at all.
You're talking about Little Monsters,
No, I'm not.
which has Lupita Nyong'o in it
Nope.
and Josh Gad.
Nope.
No,
Oh yeah, it's
No,
that.
I'm not
I know what you're
talking-
talking
I'm
about. I
not
haven't
talking
seen
about
that,
that.
but I know what you're talking about.
it's so good. It's very funny.
I will remember this eventually.
All right. Check back
We
in
didn't
for
even-
episode 3 where we add whatever Sean's thinking about.
We
I
didn't
think.
even-
Oh, it's called The Dark and the Wicked. The Dark and the
That's-
Dark
Wicked.
and the Wicked.
That
Yeah.
just came out. It's the guy that did. Is it the guy that did The Strangers? Hold
I
on.
don't know. It was really good. It wasn't like it's not like my favorite thing to ever come out ever, but it was good. It was an
What's
interesting
it called?
watch.
The guy.
The Dark and the Wicked.
It's the guy that did The Strangers. Yeah.
I didn't know that, but it makes sense that I liked
It's
it.
his.
then.
Dark
It's
and
his
the
new
Wicked.
movie.
We didn't mention Us or Get Out. None of us.
I
Nope.
thought about Get Out, but I wasn't sure if that'd count. But it's
Get
the
Out's
same
like a
as
backyard.
Hereditary. Yeah,
Yeah.
But the
I mean, so
whole-
is The Strangers,
the
though.
whole place is,
Yeah,
the whole
it's-
place
it's
is-
the same
yeah.
as Strangers and Hereditary. It's like isolated by
Yeah.
woods.
That's
Mhm.
true.
I would say that Us counts more as an in the woods isolated thing than
I feel like that's more
Us.
city than Get Out.
Well,
in like the second.
because like that whole like
I guess
the
their
housing
houses and,
areas are
yeah.
like
Mhm.
surrounded by woods, but then also they like go down
Mhm.
like down the woods and they're on that lake. So
Yeah.
I was like, it could be, it could not
I
be.
guess
yeah.
I think that my criteria, my personal criteria is like, is there a part where a character is like in peril directly amongst the trees.
Are the woods
But-
related to the plot?
Yeah, or is it
Yeah.
just But there's a
In
lot.
the
It's hard to it's hard.
Movies,
No, I get it. Houses in the woods
At least
work. Holes in the
woods
ground
shot.
count.
Yeah. So I'll even say then that I pushed it with The Strangers, but they're
I voted for you, buddy.
Yeah.
Thanks, bud.
All I'm
Yep.
saying is we all did a good job.
We
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
We all did a good job. All right, guys. Let's wrap up this episode. Thank you guys for listening or watching, whatever you're doing. This is the end of episode 2. And check out episode 3 because it's going to be out at the same time.
Yep. We love you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Good night. Goodbye.